Well, baby, look who I got with us tonight. We had a little schedule swip, little maneuvering around, if you will. This is Stir the Pot with Dr. Kincaid and my very special guest, my man, Kodi Lee. What's up, baby?
Not much. How you doing, Dom?
All right, man, we're going to scooch over a little bit that way because Skype has a tendency to cut my shit off at times if I don't have it a certain way where I sit. Oh shit, I'm missing my pillow in my back, but I don't give a shit because I got Kodi Lee on the show, man. My friend, welcome to the show. Before we get into everything, there's a lot of shit going on out there. There's the COVID is kind of never mind. Everything's kind of topsy-turvy right now. Yourself, and I do know you have an association with Miss Big Juicy. We love Big Juicy. You guys are okay over there at the homestead?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah, she has a stockpile of sanitary stuff. Accused of being a hoarder. She didn't like
well,
that too.
you know, if you guys got like a pack, an 80 pack of toilet paper, you can always send it my way. I mean, I don't know what you guys got going on over there. Now, I did work today. I've been doing the work thing all along. But believe me when I say this, Mr. Kodi, I'm not essential. But I do the food thing, so they're essential. So I go in every day. I do my thing. But today's Friday. Fuck the rest of the work bullshit. I got the weekend off, baby. Yeah, not only that. Yeah, not only that.
Hey, I went in to pick up my check today. I had a pair of Zubaz on. My boss just looks at me and she's like, "You look like shit." And I was like, "Why are you hating?" Like, really?
Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned Zubaz. Do you know who actually went on a Zuba tirade? Not only that, but a fanny pack / Zuba tirade on me. And again, I know I've said this maybe once or twice on these interviews, but somehow, some way, Chris, and I hate to start like this, sir. Chris Cannon knows my phone number. I don't know how he got it, but he has my phone number. I get a random call about a week, maybe a week and a half ago, and I look at my phone, and if I see those two words, Chris Cannon, I kind of pee myself a little bit because I don't know where the fuck this is going to go. I mean, you know Chris Cannon.
Yeah.
I pick up the phone. I go, "Hello, sir. Don Kincaid here, son of Rick Kincaid Files." just to be a pain in the ass. And he goes, "Donald, it's not playtime. I got some serious conversation I need to get off my chest, and you're the perfect person." I go, "First off, how the hell did you get my number, and what you got to say?" And he goes, "The number is not a problem. Don't even worry about that. It's none of your concern. But the Zubas and the fanny pack, he went on a gigantic tirade, my man. He's not a fan of either or. And you've already started this by talking about how you've walked in to go get the paycheck at work with a pair of Zubas. And I know I don't like to mention the two words Chris Cannon together very often, but watch yourself around Chris Cannon because I know you guys are in the same vicinity of Shut Up and Wrestle. Be careful.
They make camo ones. We could send him a pair. They make camo ones. He might like those.
Ooh, wow. You know what? I know I rambled a bunch about Mr. Cannon, but that's actually not a bad idea. Maybe I'll text him over the Memorial weekend just to be a pain in his butt and say, "Hey, by the way, came across a pair of camo Zubas. I thought they would be perfect for you. Let's see where that goes." You're a genius, my friend.
I don't know how he'll take it, though. Kind of scared.
Either do I, but we're going to all find out together. Pleasure having you here, sir. I know you've kind of joined us on the fan roundtable along with Ms. Big Juicy. We've had a lot of laughs, good times, but it's not the same thing as a one-on-one sit-down, if you will, because we don't get to know Kodi Lee a little bit more. Because Kodi Lee is a new guy. For you boys and girls that don't know of Kodi Lee, he's a new guy on the scene. And so what I'd kind of like to start with, your home base, if I'm not mistaken, is Shut Up and Wrestle. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, I started training at the Kevin Landry's Pro Wrestling Combine and had my first wrestling match at the first Shut Up and Wrestle.
Okay.
Well,
Now, was it a tag, a singles, a battle royale? What was it?
it was a singles match. Kind of found out 5 minutes before it was happening, like, hey, you're in a match. You're on first, so go out there. It's like, all right.
Wow. Now that is the only Shut Up and Wrestle I've missed out of the 6 of them, which I'm a jackass for not going to the first one because that's some of the special times is when you debut. Now, you get to open the show. Now in my eyes, not all would agree with me, but in my eyes, the opener match and the main event, they kind of go hand in hand, if you will, because it bookshelves the evening, if you will, the ride that we fans and you guys and girls take throughout the show. Can you agree with me on that?
I mean, looking back, yes, it definitely like sets the pace for what's gonna like happen or whatever. Definitely not a match worth watching. I will say that because, but yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Of like the opening match and then the main event are, you gotta bring them in. You gotta get them to stay till the end.
Exactly, because that opener match is the warm-up match for us, the fans. It's to get us a little riled up, to give us some energy. We give it back and stuff. And then the course of the evening kind of takes off from there. So I always say the opener is a very vital point of any event, man. And who did you go against in your first singles match?
Stevie Legend.
Oh,
Yes.
now we know of Stevie Legend at Shut Up and Wrestle. He's part of that damn Bite Club, which I cannot stomach, and we'll get into that later on. But so, am I assuming you came in as a baby face? They say the good guy or a
No,
bad guy?
I was the heel. I was the bad guy.
Ooh. Now, as you've been training, were you training as a bad guy or a heel, if you will?
No, I was just training and going through the moves and everything, and
Okay.
then hold, okay, heel. I was like,
Now, when you're kind of building your move set, getting in training, getting comfortable with the bumps and all of the good stuff that comes along, in your mind, do you have what you want to portray to the fans? I want to be this baby face like a John Cena, or I want to be, a heel like a Randy Orton, or, did you have anything in your mind that was already in the works?
I did not. I didn't think I was gonna be wrestling, so I just kind of got thrown into it at that on
Okay.
that day. So I was like, okay, I'll just go out and I'll tell someone in the crowd to shut up, and kind of took it from there.
Now, I've mentioned that you're a newcomer in the game. How long have you been in the game right now?
Since January of last year, we started in January last year.
Okay. Now, I've actually seen you in a couple promotions more than just Shut Up and Wrestle. I
Mm-hmm.
did miss you at Blitzkrieg. I want to talk about your time at Blitzkrieg because was that something that you were scheduled for, or was that something that you went to and maybe doing the ring or helping out with the chairs and got a spot on the show? How did you get worked in onto the Blitzkrieg show?
Well, just yeah, I started out, setting up the ring, taking down the ring, doing stuff like that, ringing the bell, and just paying my dues. And then one day, I got the message, "Hey, you're gonna be in this match." So
Now,
yeah.
Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling, they do it. They're a moving company, if you will. They don't have one spot. There's been a banquet hall in Enfield, Connecticut, that they do go at the home of the pierogies, if you will. Uh,
Yes.
they go there quite often. But I've seen them at outside shows, like an Italian festival or something like that. Again, in Enfield, so Connecticut seems to be their kind of home. I don't know if I'm wrong on saying that, but Blitzkrieg has quite the roster of characters, my friend.
And
Holy crap.
also do shows right up the road from my house at the Westfield Moose Lodge. So you can
Ooh,
catch them there too. They're a bit smaller, more intimate shows.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Blitzkrieg is filled with many characters across the spectrum. Uh, Who did you have a match with? Was it a singles tag or such?
Well, the first match I had there was it was me, Even Stevens, and Erica Lee versus Chi, Nuka, and the Arsenal. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's a lot on the plate to take in your very early career, no?
No, it was crazy though, because I walked through the curtain. It's my hometown. Everyone's chanting Kodi Lee. Never have I experienced anything like that before. It was intense. Very humbling. I was like, everyone just erupting with it.
Now, you talked about intimate settings. Even though there's not big giant venues like some promotions do, they kind of do like a VFW or Elks Lodge or Moots Lodge or whatever. Some hold a few hundred, some hold about 150 or so. But it doesn't matter because when you come out, Blitzkrieg packs them in, baby.
Oh, yeah.
When you come out through that curtain and it's a packed house, and I know you described that it was a great feeling, but talk us because we're not a wrestler. We like to get the stories and maybe get the feeling of the wrestler coming out through the curtain, especially in your very young tenure as a wrestler. Give us a little kind of journey. You're behind the curtain, your music starts, you come through that curtain, and the crowd goes apeshit wild for Kodi Lee, the hometown boy. Give us some of your thoughts, your mind process as you come through that curtain.
I was extremely nervous. Actually, that day I had just received my new boots that I had never worn before, and they were extremely slippery, and I was just nervous that I was going to land flat on my face and look like an idiot in front of everyone. So that was my biggest thing right there. Just don't slip, don't screw up. So I actually did end up slipping, but it was okay because it didn't look like I slipped. I was going for what I was supposed to be doing, so I covered myself up.
Now, hearing the adulation of so many people at once, it's almost like when you're watching, and take wrestling out of the equation. I like to compare music and wrestling very similar across the board. When you come out to a pop like that, it's almost like watching a rock show when Motley Crue comes out, or so. Isn't it very similar, sir?
It's a great feeling. It's like they're here, here to see me.
Are you your nerves as coming out as a newer guy in the scene? What are you more nervous about? Because I'm very curious when it comes to wrestling, and especially the newcomers. What were you more nervous about? Obviously, your boots was a factor, so that's already in the back of your head. As a wrestler coming out with the nerves, is it I need to perform XXX spot correctly? Or is it other things when you come through that curtain and walk your way into the ring? Because I don't know these things. I'm only 35 pounds and I would never get into the ring.
No, it's definitely more in my head. I got to perform this stuff correctly. And that's the nerves of it. As time has gone on, and from the matches I've had for every promotion or for the ones at Shut Up and Wrestle, like it gets easier along the way as far as my nerves. And now it's more just letting that character come out. And that's what I need to focus on now.
Now, you've said that you've been in a few promotions. We were talking Shut Up and Wrestle. We've talked Blitzkrieg Pro. Give us a couple more that's been on your plate.
Well, there's only one more. I've done Western Mass.
Now, Mr. Matthew James, I was at that show. I had the pleasure of being there. He introduced you the debuting Kodi Lee. I love Matthew James as a ring announcer. Love him. A lot of pizzazz, if you will. Again, the fans over there, they weren't really, did they know you? What was going on? Because if I'm not mistaken, my friend, you came out to the American Sumo. Mike Campbell. What the hell were you thinking, my friend?
Nervous again. I didn't know who was coming through that curtain. It was an open call. So I was just there for the fight, but once again, nervous.
Well, you can't always win them all. That's for sure, especially in wrestling. But you got to take the good with the bad with the good, kind of ball it all together and learn from it every single match. Like you said, every match it gets a little bit more comfortable as time goes on. At this point in your career, how many matches have you had?
Right around 10.
Okay.
I really, yeah, right around 10.
Now, your real name is obviously Kodi, but your character name is Kodi as well with a different last name. Speak to us, the fans. How do you come up with this character, and why did you keep your own name? And what does your character represent? Is there a backstory, or what's going on with all of that?
All that, I mean, I kind of just drew inspiration, think like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash from jumping from WWF to WCW. One's
Okay.
Diesel, one's Razor Ramon. They jumped to WCW. It's their names. So I just wanted to be more of not so much like a gimmick, more so myself, but just amplify it up.
Right. Now, they say, and it's been pretty much proven along the course, that some of the best characters are yourselves amped up, if you will, in wrestling. And those are the characters that really do stride to the top, the big platforms, if you will. Now, your character, is it attitude? Is it like, well, what do you bring to the table as a character? What does your character represent, sir?
Well, I'm a baby face. Basically just a big boy out there just trying to do good.
Now,
and I need to work on that part.
Now, it's not easy. We speak a lot about the connection between the fans and the wrestlers, that little dance that we do, because without that, it's very evident right now on the TV. When you turn on wrestling, it's very evident. Without the fans, it's just a total different animal, different element, a whole new ball game out there, which we have to give those men and women 1,000,000% credit for trying to make this all accomplished, especially on TV live, just like it is all the time. So you got to give them that.
Even with empty arenas, I still turn on and watch. I'm a student of it, so I still love to see what people are doing, and so I still tune in. I do like how AEW is doing it, where they have kind of the locker room as the fans. I think that is an excellent idea, and they're sparsely out there, so they're not much at risk.
I kind of agree with you, dear, because if you go to an indie show, and sometimes you don't get the numbers for the fans to come in, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some of the guys and girls from the back will hang out and spread around a little bit. So when people are taking footage or people are taking pictures, there's still somewhat of a crowd kind of lingering around, if you will, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, AEW, I feel when I first saw them do that, I'm like, holy shit, they're taking that indie feel, if you will, when there's lack of fans. And they're actually doing that right now in front of our eyes.
Yeah. Because it's a different product than what WWE is putting out. So it definitely does feel like they have a more independent feel to them.
Now,
I could do without all the super kicks, but that's just me.
Now, so, modern day wrestling has obviously evolved into what it is today. Over the course, we know what the course of the history of wrestling is up until now, especially, being fans, if you will. Now, you just mentioned something that really hits a nerve with many people. The 32 super kicks, the 17 destroyers, the 3 450s, all in one match with a kick out of 2 or a kick out of 1. And that's something that, it's bam, 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 bam. And a lot of fans like it, but a lot of fans don't. Talk to us about what you like in wrestling, since you did mention the super kicks overdone really isn't your cup of tea,
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it kind of really just buries the sweet chin music. This Shawn Michaels came out there, boom, you knew that was the finish right there. I mean, people do have different takes on it. I'm not going to put anyone down for that. Does it bring the entertainment factor up to some? Yes. is there some people who are more old school or just like, oh, this is ruining the business? Yeah, but it's entertainment,
Mhm.
and that's what it is at the end of the day.
Because when it does happen, especially with the Young Bucks, I'll use them as an example because they were bringing that super kick party to life as they started gaining a lot of steam. And even like on ROH, it was Kevin Kelly. You've heard it. I mean, super kick, and it was like they would announce it like it was the craziest thing in the entire universe. But it made the fans like absolutely lose something. Again, like you said, some of the new school fans, they really enjoy that, and they would pop every single time. And it brings that entertainment value. It does bring it up in certain occasions.
I mean, like all things evolve, so I guess if that's where it's going, that's where it's
Mhm.
going. I still lie a little bit old school and like things like that, but
As a fan watching wrestling, I don't like to ask the question, when did you start watching wrestling and those kind of general things. But as you're growing up and watching wrestling, becoming a fan, now you're thinking, I want to be a wrestler. What are you watching? Who in your eyes is like, you know what? That guy right there, that's why I want to be a wrestler. Or even a girl, because there's so many women that are influencing men and vice versa. Men influencing women. So who are your influences while you're becoming a fan?
my influences, well, kind of shocking. When I was younger, I really loved Rey Mysterio. Like he was like one of my favorite guys. And I think it's funny because there's like a lot of newer people out now who don't realize like how long he's been in the business, and they're just like, oh, he's just a jobber. I'm like, no, that was like my hero when I was a kid. Stone Cold as well. I don't like to mention that one because that's usually a given. But yeah, people like that. Raven, really into Raven when I was little.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That was cool when I saw him hit 50 cal in the head with the kendo stick in Enfield. One. But yeah, I've been given a lot of crap for it. I'd say Kevin Nash. People think I'm like the biggest like mark for Kevin Nash, and I'm like, no, he's a big guy. I'm not little, but I'm not that big. And I remember there was one day I went to the combine, and my mom had been on the plane driving. I mean, not driving. Wow, flying from Florida. Wow. But yeah, she was flying from Florida. She takes a picture, and it's like she's holding her phone over her head, and right behind her is Kevin Nash. I was like, you gotta like tell him or something. I don't know. So ever since I said that story, like, oh, he's Big Daddy Kodi, or like like that.
That's hilarious. Now, you are a bigger guy. The move set that you do, is there anybody specific that you've kind of taken some moves and maybe utilized them and kind of maybe took a little spin and made them your own, or kind of like, I really dig that stuff right there?
I mean, like a newer guy that I've been thinking like about what I physically can do and my size and everything. A newer guy has definitely been like Kevin Owens because
Perfect.
him and I are like the same size. So, but he jumps around, does all this stuff. I'm athletic. I can do that as well. So he's definitely someone I've been like watching, studying film for and stuff. As far as like newer.
As you're saying it, and I'm saying to myself, say KO, because it would be absolutely fitting because of your stature, my friend. You guys are very similar. Now, there was a there was a promo that we did. It was the night Shut Up and Wrestle, and I don't know if it was 4 or 5. I'm not really exactly sure on that because I'm not that bright. But it was a Shut Up and Wrestle, and you ended up being part of this damn thing called the Bike Club. Hate saying those 3 words together, the Bike Club. Can't stand saying it, and I know I've just said it twice, maybe 3 times. But you were actually in it for just a minute, and then you weren't in it, and you're still out of it thank goodness that happened. Smart on you. Now, that night that you were not in it and it all kind of unfolded, I did a little promo with you post-event at Shut Up and Wrestle. Now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, when I approached you and wanted to do a promo and stuff, I don't really see you do many, if any at all. Were you a little bit nervous, but like, what the hell am I going to say? How do I act? This is totally different than being in the ring. Like, were you a tad nervous? Because I got that from you when I kind of approached
it. Because I realized, I watched it back, I'm like, I really need to speak up. Like, that was the first thing. I was like, oh, yeah. So I'm like, I need to speak up. Jesus. Like, yeah, a little bit in there.
Well, the reason why I ask is because I've watched it a few times, and what I get out of those is I like to see the young talent as they rise. I want to ask you a couple things about that. A, was that your first promo?
Yes. Well, I mean, we had filmed one previously. It was Seven, Stevie Legend, and myself. We filmed one against Southern Discomfort. I said maybe one or two lines, and that was it. So you approaching me was like the first full-on like one that I had.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Now, to take some more away from that, you even saw as you watched it back, man, I'm not talking loud enough. Me, I can carry across a damn room. But my point being with that is I make sure that I do because, my friend, we are in wrestling. We are not at a private event. We're not at a church. We're not here to be quiet. We're there to be loud and proud. I don't give a rat's ass. I want people to hear what the hell is going on. That's why I yell, Dr. K here with Center Ring KK Files. I'm here with Kodi Lee. I don't give a shit.
You're running all around with your camera and everything.
But with all of that being said, my friend, that's what we're talking about. That's another piece of the puzzle is the promo end of being a wrestler. Use that as a tool, a building block, if you will, and be like, next time that damn Kincaid or anybody comes up to me, I'm going to make sure that I kind of come up with a tad more confidence and be nice and let my character, because that's what it's supposed to show, my friend. Let my character be shown on the camera because this is going to be seen, hopefully, by not just my dad and his dog, Jake. So we want fans to be introduced to Kodi. Confidence, be a little bit louder. Say what you mean what you say. When I say damn bike club, I mean that shit. You know what I'm saying, my friend? Yeah. Now this is
how are you supposed to get over if you're just like, okay.
Yeah. And this is not me trying to tell you what to do, but this is what I got out of that promo specifically. A little bit louder, a little bit prouder, and dude, you'll be on your way because without promos, without good promos, it's a lack on your presentation going into newer companies and such, you know?
Yeah, because it's a brand you're trying to promote. Who
absolutely
wants to book that if it's not going to get butts in the seats? That's what it comes down to.
And you, Big Juicy, DL Hurst, Chris Cannon, you name it. Each individual, you are your own salesman. You are your own pitchman, if you will. You're the ones that have to kind of be a little bit creative. What kind of shirt can I put out? Should I put out stickers? The whole 9 yards. How should I carry myself when it comes time to promos? And the whole 9 yards, man, because you are your own individual salesman. And that is one of the hardest things about being a wrestler, because you don't become a wrestler to be a salesman. You become a wrestler to be a fucking wrestler, you know?
Business aspect of what we are in.
Now, I kind of jump back and forth between timelines and such, but I want to go back to Kevin Landry's Combine. Talk to us about your training. Obviously difficult to training becoming a wrestler, but give us on how you felt being trained by some of the fine men and women over at Kevin Landry's, because there's plenty to train from. Who was working with you mainly, And how did you feel coming up, and how long exactly did you train before you had that first match?
Before the first match, there was it was probably like 8 months or so. And
Okay.
the first time I got the first day of training, I'm thinking, hey, this is just gonna be like a hey, meet and greet everyone. Like this is this is what we're gonna be doing. No, it was start running, go run 15 minutes around the gym. Threw up 6 times my first day.
I, I didn't mean to laugh because I probably would too, easily.
Oh no, that's fine. I threw up 4 times the second day showing up, so I was like, okay, I'm making progress here. And then
Now,
eventually, stop throwing up.
I call wrestlers athletes because without the physicality, the conditioning, cardio, everything that comes with having to be a wrestler, you're an athlete, my friend. So when you're not an athlete and you start training, you're like, holy shit, this is for real.
Yeah, no, I had slack because all 4 years of high school I was varsity football and lacrosse, so I was in shape at one point in time. Got out of shape, and then I showed up and it just kicked my ass, and I was like, all right, got to get back into the conditioning, lifting the weights, all that stuff. During this quarantine, I've slacked just a little bit, but I'm starting to get back on that, running.
Well,
lifting weights, all that stuff.
I'm sure you know of Kirby Wackerman, correct?
Mm-hmm. Great guy,
Well,
great guy.
Kirby Wackerman, he has a video, and I know it's a little bit older, pre-corona, if you will, but he's got a video, and it's really tight in, and he's lifting, and he counts to like 100 or whatever. I forget what he counts to. Might have been, I don't know. Anywho, yeah, he pulls it out, and there's like milk jugs on a shovel. I mean, oh my God, that guy cracks me up. Woo! Not only that, but through the whole virus thing, he's been lifting goats, wild goats that roam around.
It's that strong head style. He's just
Yeah. What a character that guy is! Holy cow! That kind of brings me up. We didn't speak of one thing in that when we reverted back to Kevin Landry's at the combine. Who was some of the people that were training Kodi as you came into Kevin Landry's?
The first day I showed up, the guy on your shirt was there.
Ooh, Yusuf.
As well, she was there. The Arsenal, 50 cal and 12 gauge, they were there. Nuka was one of them as well. And I know you don't like it, but Chris Cannon was one of them as well when I first started showing up.
Hey. That dude's huge.
No. Try getting Fireman's Carried for the first time, and it's by Chris Cannon.
No way.
We're not in the ring. This is just on the wooden floor in the combine. And it's like, okay, you're jumping up on his shoulder. And I'm like, okay. Just staring down at the ground like, I'm a big boy. Like, of course I'm going to be scared of someone dropping me, even if it's Chris Cannon. Like.
Gotta say that, for sure. Now, getting through it, you mentioned Nuka, Chi, the Arsenal. You've had a kind of tiff with them, if you will, over at Blitzkrieg and such. Could you give me, Nuka is flipping crazy, as well as Mr. Chi is. Nuka, my friend, I feel big things from Nuka, from many of the stars over at Kevin Landry's. And I'm going to say it, and I do hate to say his name, but Chris Cannon, my friend, if eyes get on that guy, sky's the limit for him. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Mr. Nuka, kind of in that same bracket. The kid can do some cool stuff. But right before we got over with all of this, before this stuff started, this whole virus thing, we were at Shut Up and Wrestle 6. And Cannon has been away for a little bit. Okay? But he kind of did a little return at 5, did a little blind side on the Nuka, which led us to 6. They had a match.
Mm-hmm.
Now, during those matches, I run around with my phone like a fucking chicken with his head cut off. I go to the entrance, I follow him in. I go to the next entrance, I follow him in. I go around the ring where I have to get that good position. And I like to have a lot of fun at shows like that personally. But my point being is Chris Cannon's out. He's got his arms out. His wingspan is about 30 feet wide. My camera is pretty much focused on his back, and that's all you see. You don't even see the rest of the fucking room because his back is so huge. And all of a sudden I hear, oh my God. And I look over real quick, and it's Nuka sneaking up, and I see him, and bam! He blows Kincaid right in his face. Green mist just flies right in his face. It was one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen live. Not just live, but dude, I swear I was like a foot, maybe a foot and a half away from all of that, and I lost my shit. Now you're still a fan. Look at you smile. Was that fun for you?
I almost got that missed one time.
Ooh.
At one of the Westfield Blitzkrieg shows that you weren't there for, when me and Big Juicy were a tag team against the Arsenal. The Arsenal had me by the arms. Nuka comes running out, but I ducked out of the way, and 12 gauge got the mist. Almost missed though. I don't know.
That's fucking hilarious. I gotta see that footage because I would love to see that. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's hilarious. Now I've actually seen that backfire. The very first time I ever seen Mr. Nuka was at a Battlefront show, I believe. I want to say that's correct. I'm not sure. I'm not certain on that. But he went to go miss Mr. Kirby Wackerman, and it went into Chee's face. And oh my God, I laughed myself. I fell off the chair. I was like a little kid, man. I was dying. It was hilarious. I love seeing the miscues in wrestling. I think that's one of the most coolest elements in wrestling, when those miscues happen with the heels especially. And I know with the faces, it kind of, the good guys, it's supposed to do a little something, which it does. But I just really love when the heels kind of get it stuck to them. I think it's hilarious.
That's what everyone wants to see. They want to see the bad guy getting what's coming to them. They hate it when the bad guy wins. That's what brings people back.
Now, I want to get back to when you're becoming a fan of wrestling. What do you like as wrestling per se? Do you like the old Matt classic stuff? Because that's my kind of cup of tea. The Don Moroccos, the Cowboy Bob Orton, Bob Backlund and such, Tito Santana, Ivan Putski, that kind of stuff. That's my cup of tea. That's what I grew up on and kind of went with. What do you like? What do you prefer in wrestling?
Well, I'm definitely not a high flyer. This belly right here keeps me down. So yeah, I'm by no way a chain technician or anything like that, but definitely more on the mat is where my style is at. And I mean, I did say that I like Rey Mysterio and all that stuff when I was younger. I do like to see that stuff, but that, me personally, is not what I do. Maybe if I had the ability of being like a little guy and being able to jump around and do all that stuff, but
hey, you never know. You're very short in your career right now, so you never know what the future is going to bring to one Kodi Lee. Now, with that being said, kind of like to get a little bit of your move set, because when bigger guys are in the ring, we the fans, we feed off of some of the most simple shit that you guys and girls give us. I say we're easy because we are. We latch on to things in wrestling very easily. Do you, in your move set, do maybe one or two big guy moves that aren't supposed to be big guy moves that really make us go, holy shit, he did that?
I mean, I very much love Ricky Steamboat, and I've been trying to get my arm drags just to be like crisp like his. I know they will never be, but I love doing them. That's one of them. I've had a few practices of doing up and overs where I thought I was gonna fly out of the ring in the wrong way. A little bit scary in that aspect. So I'm like, oh well, I guess I can jump like that.
So you're actually finding a little bit more ability than you thought you had. Is that correct I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I like the first time I went in and we were like, okay, we're learning bumps, and I'm like, okay. It's just a simple, you just flip over like someone, it was for the headlock takeover drill. Someone's down on all fours, you just have your arms like this underneath them, and you just flip over. I'm like, you mean to tell me I'm going head first into the mat? They're like, no, you just tuck your chin and everything's okay. I'm like, all right. Did I really want to start doing this stuff? But no. After like the first couple times, I was like, okay, I can figure this out.
Now, I've gone scuba diving, and when I very first started trying to scuba, it's very unorthodox on how you have to breathe with the respirator, if you will, the octopus that they call it. Because now your nose is being blocked and you're only breathing through your mouth. And when you get under the water, my friend, it is a total different animal. Yeah. But it's mind over matter to get used to it, because your lungs are like, oh, you almost get a little bit of anxiety when you very first go under with an octopus on.
And the compression in the ears and everything.
Yeah. So you start little, you get in a pool, you get a feel of going under there and working with an octopus. You don't want to go big, because then some kooky shit can really happen. So you start small, you get in a pool, and it's still just as nerve-wracking because I've never done that. I'm going underwater and I'm still going to be breathing, and my brain is saying this isn't supposed to be. So what I'm driving at is, it's kind of the same thing that you just described. It's mind over matter. Like, wait a minute, I'm doing that?
Wrestling is very unnatural. Your body's programmed to do one thing, and wrestling's like, well, you're gonna do another thing. That's like I said, just about like, oh, well, I'm gonna jump over this person, and I'm going to like go head first with my arms back here. And your body's like, wait, no, what are you doing? No.
I just can't imagine the correlation that the brain has to do with the body to stop all of the natural ability like you're speaking of. It's like, it's got to be, wrestling is never ending learning process. Always going to be learning something down the road, no matter how long your career is. That's another aspect about wrestling that correlates with music, because, and I'll use the guitar for an example because I'm a guitar player. You can't learn the neck, my friend. It's a never-ending battle. You'll never learn the whole damn neck. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with wrestling. Never-ending learning tree.
No, man, I myself am a guitar player as well. I just keep it simple. Pentatonic scale, blues. Music based off that. I don't go outside of that zone. I'm like, oh, I don't like, oh, I'm going to learn this mode or that mode and this and that, and you're never going to get it all. So,
yep. Absolutely. And especially with my lack of brain power, me being a solo guitar player is totally off of the table. I'm a rhythm guy. That's what I know. That's what I'm comfortable with, and I'm not going to pretend.
Everyone's got roles to play. So
yeah, exactly, my man. I'm the guy. If you want somebody solid, give me a song. I'll learn that song, bitch, and I'll come back to the band practice with homework totally done. You'll never have to question what I'm bringing to the table. But don't ask me to do a fucking hammer-on crazy solo, because that's not happening.
Start busting out with the sweeps and everything.
Yeah, I know my limitations. So now I want to bring something to the table. You and Miss Big Juicy, you kind of have a little relationship going on. I've had Miss Big Juicy, not only on the Stir in the Pot, but she's become a regular on the Fan Roundtable, and we love her to pieces. My goodness, she's such a joy to have. But I've posed this question to her, and I'm going to pose this question to you. in the household, say you guys get an idea in your head, and you're like, and I know you probably don't call her Big Juicy, but I would never call her anything but Big Juicy. But example, hey, Big Juicy, I got this thing I want to toss out at you. Get over here. I'm in the living room. Let's do something. I got this thing. Are you trying new wrestling things or anything in the household, or are you guys kind of messing around a little bit as wrestlers? Because you guys are both wrestlers, that's got to be cool in a relationship.
Oh no, we catch each other in the kitchen all the time. I just grab her arm and I'm like, get out of this now. You still, like, even though nothing's going on, you still gotta, like, stay a little bit sharp. Don't want to be completely rusty when all this stuff, when you get back in there and it gets back to normal.
Now, I notice that shows, I have, at a lot of times, the privilege and the honor as a fan. And I talk about the boundary lines of fan wrestler. There's a boundary line where you can't cross. You shouldn't. I should say you shouldn't cross. I know where that line is. I might push the envelope a little bit, but I know where that line is. But what I'm driving at is I've had the honor and privilege of going early, pre-event at a lot of shows. And I love that environment pre-show. Getting the ring up, the camaraderie when the men and women are walking in and walking up to every single person, shaking hands, giving hugs, introducing yourself if you don't know that person, the whole 9 yards. But during those times, and I'll use somebody for an example. Say I'm walking in the room and here comes Jake. His name is Jake right now. It used to be Jake Diavol. Don't tell him I said that because he'll probably hate me for it, but I don't give a crap. Now, Jake, we're going to start calling him just Jake. I can't wait till he come back. It's going to be hilarious. But Jake would like kind of walk up to me and fake a chop or fake a boot or fake stuff like that. You guys have got to be always doing funky shit like that in the house because that's what I see. If I was in a relationship with a wrestler, I'd be fake chopping and headlocking and going nuts.
That is 100% me. And then she's just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, leave me alone. I've definitely gotten quite a few, like, real low blows just for me messing around doing that. Yeah. Just for me messing around and doing all that, just being like, oh, come on. Nope.
It's all fun and games until Kodi loses a wiener. Woo! Oh my goodness. Now, I'm going to go back to your character just one more time. The word Lee at the end of your name, does it represent anything? Did you take it from anything within your life, or is it tattooed on your ass, or where does Lee fit into Kodi's character?
Well, it's actually on my birth certificate. It's my middle name.
Oh, so it might be tattooed on your ass.
Yeah, it's my. Well, I mean, I can't go as Kodi Robitaille. Like, way too long of a name. And Kodi Lee sounds chantable. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was right there. My whole thing about it.
That's
Still kind of thinking about, like, you know, a character change and, like, more of a different name. The gears are turning on that. Obviously, this is my first go-around with everything. But you have to start somewhere. So,
exactly.
I didn't think that was a bad place to start.
No, characters always evolve. It might be a little bit of a change name. It might be a little bit of the gear name, but keep the name. It could be an attitude. It could be more charisma as a face could come out, you know, or like I said, attitude. You might turn the tables on us. You never know. Hey, you never know. It's wrestling. So you might go to the dark side down the road. You never can tell.
On the dark side for a little while.
For a little while. For a little while. Do you prefer the face or do you prefer the heel when you get to play those parts?
I mean, face, definitely. Heel is something that didn't really come natural to me. Kind of takes time to like portray that. So right now, being fresh and green and everything, face is definitely where I'm at.
Now, I've noticed from the very second that we started, even pre-recording, you're wearing that snazzy Mean Gene Okerlund shirt. That is a gorgeous shirt. What an homage to our man, Mean Gene.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody, you know what? Never heard a bad word about Mean Gene in my entire life growing up as a wrestling fan, becoming a fan a little bit more into it. Never once have I heard anybody speak bad about Mean Gene. We all love Mean Gene,
Yeah.
it seems, man.
He's just a very captivating guy. All his interviews and everything. He had that voice. You knew it was his. Great guy. Wrestling world definitely lost someone great when he died.
Absolutely. Now, I'm bringing this up because if you kind of poke around YouTube, you can find bloopers, if you will. All right. Now, when I say bloopers, it's more like the promo stops. Mean Gene lights up a cigarette, grabs a drink, and starts f-bombing people.
He starts cutting as soon as the camera's out.
But it's not like yelling.
Though, when they said action.
yeah, exactly. It's funny because it's not like he would swear at the men and women like he was being a dick. It was like that camaraderie kind of jabbing, ribbing, if you will.
Yeah.
You know? Oh my God, I can watch those things forever. So whoever's watching this, again, I hope it's not my dad and his dog Jake, just those two. Whoever's watching this, if you've never seen any of these, go on YouTube and type up Mean Gene bloopers. You're going to have some fun, my friends. Holy cow, those are hilarious. I love those. Now, you said that you were in a tag team with Big Juicy. What's that like when you're in a relationship at home, now you take it to work professionally, and you got to work together? I mean, is it any different than any part of your life? Or, I mean, how do you guys attack that?
It was a weird feeling. It was very, very weird. I was like, this is my girlfriend. We are a wrestling tag team now. And never in a million years would I thought I'd be able to say that sentence. Like, it was just fucking crazy. I enjoyed it. It was awesome. But once again, never something I thought I'd ever say. I told my mom, I'm like, hey, me and Juicy are going to be a tag team. Also nothing I ever thought I'd say. So, like, even telling our roommates and everything, like, it was just ridiculous. But then the next show in Enfield, I was punching her in the face. So,
okay, please tell us, the fans. You just said how weird it was working with her as a tag team. Now you gotta kind of throw jabs at her. How much different was that? Holy cow!
It's nice a little. Sorry, that'd sound bad. I was gonna say it's nice. A little payback for those low blows, but no. It was terrible. Afterwards, her mom comes up to me and gives me the worst purple nurple I've ever had in my whole life. This is what you get for punching my daughter. I'm like, sorry. Like, the show had to go on.
What would you rather get? We're gonna play a little game. What would you rather get? No shirt on, open-handed chop to the chest from Mike Gamble, the American Sumo, or a purple nurple from Mama Juicy?
Well, Mama Juicy missed, so she didn't even get the nurple. So is that much worse.
Now, speaking of chops, this is going to be hilarious. We're going to relive a moment. Fan roundtable.
I'm not taking the shirt off.
No. on the fan roundtable. Oh my God, you're hilarious. On the fan roundtable, we had some special guests. Kodi Lee came walking in because Big Juicy was on the panel. Donovan, we call him the Future. He was on the panel, but his mom came in. We call her Camera Lady. And man, did we have such a crazy ass time on that show, my friend. And I believe it was the One Call Changed It All episode. Am I correct on saying that?
I'm not sure. I walked in. I got out of work early. So that's usually why I'm not here for that stuff. Because I'm still an essential employee. So.
Now, to get further into the story, as we're going on, I could say the words Donovan and shirt, and that kid will take his shirt off. Just like, no matter how I put it in a sentence, that kid is going to take his shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much fun, but you joined him in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you did such, you told Juicy to chop you.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to. She was like, no. And you're like, yes. So she gives you a chop, and you're like, what the hell was that? That wasn't a chop. Give me that open hand, give me a good chop. And she gave you a hell of a chop, and that handprint stuck there through the whole fucking episode. That was crazy. Not only that, but that in turn asked Donovan to have his mother.
No, not his mother. She's Camera Lady. We can't say mother.
Oh yeah, we can't. It's Camera Lady. Oh my God, I lose my shit. The camera lady gave Donovan a chop, not one, but two, because she kind of missed the first one. Holy crap, man. What an amazing time we had on that fan roundtable. Now, coming in on those, do you enjoy what we're doing with the kind of soiree of fans kind of getting together and just talking local indie wrestling? I mean, it's not, specific that, but that's what we try to gear it towards. Some of our favorite promotions, some of our favorite talent. We've talked WWE and such, but that's kind of what we geared it towards. You're a wrestler on the scene. You come in and you've been on these things a couple times with us. How do you like that whole formula that we're doing?
I mean, you guys are doing great. I mean, with everything going on in the world right now, and you doing this, people having the fan roundtable, all that stuff, it's a way of keeping wrestling alive. And that's how I view it. And keep on doing it,
We're having tons of fun. That's all I know, Kodi. It's been an amazing ride, man. It's been so much fun. Now I've taken the roundtable and I've kind of put a couple spins on it. We had our very first ever women's roundtable, which Big Juicy was part of. Not only part of, she kind of head speared the whole thing for me because I mentioned it to her and she took the reins and got some fine women on the panel. Man, what a good time we had on that show.
Mm-hmm. She's very gung-ho about that.
Yeah.
She was as soon as you said it, she was messaging people being like, let's make this happen. So it's that DIY that really makes everything still keep going.
Yeah.
This is happening. Well, we're gonna still make content and do this, and
that was the main reasoning behind it. Because imagine if we were, still locked down here, and I haven't talked to a fan, a wrestler, anybody that I've spoke to on these Stirring the Pots. I would lose my ever fucking mind, man. I gotta stay connected to you men and women. I love having, these sit downs and the fan roundtable and such. I mean, I would lose my ever loving mind. So I can't appreciate every single one of you men and women, especially you, sir, because I put it out there last night. Somebody kind of had to change days, if you will. So I had an open Friday, and I don't want to do 3 or 4 after work like I was. That was twisting my brain up a little bit. But you stepped in. no problem. You reached right out and you said, hey, man, I'm game. So I really appreciate you for taking the time, stepping up. And not only that, we got to know a lot about Kodi Lee because I didn't know a damn thing except that you were with Ms. Juicy and you got
kind of a little quiet, so yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before I do let you go, what are you watching? A couple things before I let you go, actually, real quick. Like, what are you watching when you turn on? I know we spoke of AEW and such, but what's your go-to for wrestling, even before the whole COVID thing, with fans, the regular setup? What's your go-to for wrestling?
Everything. I look up things on YouTube. We have the WWE Network, so I watch everything from the territories to like the start of Raw and things in like FMW, New Japan. I watch everything.
Wow.
That's how you learn as a wrestler. Just take in everything. So
when we come back to whatever fucking normal is going to be, we have no idea what it's going to look like. But when we do, and we can actually get back into some action, get in that ring, have some fun, do you have any specific, either A, promotion that you would like to work for coming out of this, because you've only worked for a few, very short in your career, and B, is there anybody that's out there right now that either you've mixed it up with like a little redemption, or somebody else that you want to kind of be across from the ring and maybe test yourself as a wrestler? So are you looking at any promotion and any specific wrestler when we come back from this?
I am looking at any promotion. I don't want to limit myself to any single promotion. Okay. I'd be grateful to work for anyone. There is I think you know who the particular person I'm going to mention is.
I'm feeling it.
Because even in that video, like the promo that we shot, there's someone who popped out of the curtain and wasn't too happy to see them. So I would definitely love to get this, whole feud with Seven just done with. Get my redemption and be done with all that.
Now, him specifically, I don't know if you've seen it from behind the curtain. At one of the Shut Up and Wrestles, I don't know if it was 5 or 6, but they were going against Southern Discomfort, and Southern Discomfort threw like a nice little bag, and it was filled with garlic, and it really set Seven off. Now, they've got this guy called The Cure, Lucas Chase, and I know he hasn't been up to Shut Up and Wrestle. He's the only one that can't be, affected by this garlic thing. So we're friends. I'm trying to help you out. Keep a bit of garlic on you because it seems to be effective against that damn Seven. So do yourself a favor. Bring some garlic with you next. When we get back and you can get him on a card and pencil that match in, bring garlic, my friend. Remember that.
I don't think I'm going to need the garlic.
Oh, my man Kodi with the confidence. That's what we're talking about. He's coming out with the big W.
Yeah.
Well, my man, I cannot wait to see that happens, because if there's anybody that likes to see Seven get beat up, that's me, my friend. Kodi Lee, an absolute joy to have you on the show tonight. I thank you so much, my man.
Welcome.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what the future brings one Kodi Lee. He could be, Cody Hogan. He could be Hulk Lee. He could be, who knows what you never know what the future is going to bring one Kodi Lee. And I cannot wait to see what happens. So with that being said, this is Stir the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Kodi Lee, my man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.